Here's what you need to know.
Well, here we go. Looks like Nets guard Kyrie Irving may be about done with his suspension. That, according to ESPN, saying he could play as early as Sunday against the Grizzlies. Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury is non-committal on naming a starting quarterback for Monday night against the 49ers, with Kyler Murray still day-to-day with a hamstring injury, and second stringer Colt McCoy nursing a minor knee injury. Rams quarterback Matt Stafford, returning from a concussion, looks to be starting Sunday against the Saints. His teammate wide receiver Cooper Kupp gets added to injured reserve. Commanders head coach Ron Rivera picking quarterback Taylor Heineke to be QB1 Sunday against the Texans after that nice showing on Monday against the Eagles. Saints head coach Dennis Allen says he's going to stay put despite some backlash with Andy Dalton as starting quarterback on Sunday. And Justin Jefferson was not a full go at practice today. I'm Brian Fenley.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Sproles, answer, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eric Franson and Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press. Thanks for tuning in, joining us on a Wednesday. Continuing to prep for Utah State and San Jose State. What are the players and coaches saying about the matchups? Would you rather Wednesday?
I forgot to mention that at the top. And I found a would you rather like a week and a half ago, or no, I think it was maybe like last Thursday. So it was like right after I had would you rather. I saw one. I was like, oh, I got to hang on to that one for later. And I found it.
You found it?
Because you mentioned it to me. I'd kind of forgotten about it. But you mentioned that because I'd mentioned to you that I saw one. And I don't know if I showed it to you or not.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, but I went back and I found it because I saw it on Twitter. And I was, for a second, I was like, where? Like, I don't know where to find it because I couldn't quite remember exactly what it was. And I remembered it was a Twitter account. I remember the Twitter account that it was, so I was able to go back and also at that point then kind of remembered what it was. So
there you go.
Even if I hadn't found the Twitter account, I probably would have been able to put it together. But I have it now, and it's kind of an interesting one.
So if you have a would you rather question, feel free to submit it, 435-339-0321. And look at the Utah Jazz last night, losing to the New York Knicks. Jazz in a bit of a losing streak right now. Are teams just figuring out how to defend the Jazz, or something else going on here? So we'll talk about all that here this hour on the Full Court Press. And again, I'd love to hear from you on a variety of different topics. 435-339-0321. The top of or the end of our show last hour, we were talking a little bit about high school wrestling. We've got a few more texts that have come through.
Very passionate, all our texters on high school wrestling.
8003 says, high school wrestling is easy. Mountain Crest boys and girls take state.
That usually is the thing. Every year it's like Mountain Crest wrestling. Like when I was at the Herald Journal, every year it'd be right there. They cover Mountain West, regional 11 wrestling, and then the state wrestling tournament, and it was just always Mountain Crest winning. I was like, all right, what else is new? Well, meanwhile, I'm covering, usually it's basketball and wrestling are around the same time, right?
Yes.
They're fairly concurrent.
Yeah.
So I'd be covering, boys basketball, girls basketball, and they'd be covering Mountain Crest winning whatever it is.
It's that time. Yeah, you'd probably be more often than not, picking Mountain Crest.
Yeah.
9315, I believe flow or track wrestling was invented by a BYU wrestling student.
Yeah. So he was suggesting where I could go do my research, since we've apparently been given the challenge to go give our opinions on the upcoming wrestling season. Which that'd be a challenge for me. We'll see. I've got a couple of projects that I need to finish up. One of them is girls tennis. So that'll be a nice, long form feature that's coming out.
Yeah, so those are some good things to watch for on future articles on Cache Valley Daily or future discussions here on the Full Court Press.
Yeah, potentially. And also volleyball. Couple of champions out of Region 11 in girls tennis and volleyball.
That's true.
That's why I'm writing about that.
That's very true.
So those are projects that'll be coming up shortly that I'll be putting out. Really fun stories with these teams.
9315, you need to look into UVU wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that we've had their coach on the show a couple different times. And that's a successful program where there are a lot of schools that dropped their wrestling programs. There's a little bit of a resurgence in some areas with wrestling. I don't know if that's spurred on by girls wrestling coming on or some other things that are happening in the sport, but definitely some good wrestlers coming out of Cache Valley.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of sports that are taking off. They're getting more popularity. College ranks or high school and whatnot. It's a good time for sports. They're becoming more and more popular as it's become easier to disseminate information about these and get video out, and it's easier to watch them. For us with we were able to cover football and basketball, but we're also able to showcase other sports. And so it's easier to get exposure, and so they become more popular.
Yeah, well, and there's more access. There's more sports available now.
Yeah.
And so there's more variety. It's easier for people to play a sport because it used to be only a couple that really were available, and if you didn't make that roster, that was it.
Yeah.
But now you have choices.
Yeah.
A couple other texts coming through. 1570. Would you rather, since 2020, be the Lakers or the Jazz? The Lakers have one title, but their future now looks very bad for a long time. The Jazz have restructured with a solid team and a lot of draft capital.
So it kind of, if you put it in a vacuum, in the way I am in terms of my NBA fandom, I'd say the Lakers because all I really want is the one title. That's all I care about at this point. If the Jazz sold the next 10 years for one championship, I'd take it and be happy about it. Now, if you're a Lakers fan, you're not happy about, the way the Lakers are right now. You might almost take where the Jazz are at. But, because the Lakers, they have a lot higher, standard of success. They expect to be title contenders and winning titles every single year. Jazz fans, we just want one.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a nuanced thing. So again, in a vacuum, I'd take the Lakers. I just want the title.
I would take the Lakers as well. You had the title, but you're more likely to be a destination for free agents than Utah is.
Yeah. Well, Lakers
so you can more quickly turn around your roster in Los Angeles than you can in Utah.
Yeah. You can, but the problem is you have to sign them as free agents, and the Lakers haven't necessarily signed a lot of guys as free agents. They end up having to trade for them because the marquee free agents aren't coming on the free agent market anymore. Usually they're being traded somewhere. So the Lakers, they're kind of messed up for the next 7-8 years. But they have the title, which, man, do they need that? Because otherwise heads would have rolled in that front office over how badly they've handled, this, what was supposed to be a mini dynasty.
Yeah.
With LeBron and AD.
Definitely has not delivered. 9315, Snow College has the first girls wrestling team in Utah. Okay. On a collegiate level. Nice.
So it'll be a women's wrestling team.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, since we're talking about the Jazz, last night, game against the New York Knicks, a team that hadn't beaten a team with a winning record to that point. And Jazz really struggled in that second half. The spacing was not great. Ball movement was just kind of clunky. And Jazz had a lead in the second half and let it get away from them, and then they could never really get it back again. So are teams starting to figure out how to defend the Jazz, or is that just I've heard a lot of coaches say the first game back after a long road trip, especially from the East Coast, is like another road game, and it's hard to get back into the swing of things. So is this a team that just has had a lot of travel over a short amount of time, or teams starting to figure out the Jazz because they lost at Washington and they lost at Philadelphia before coming home to lose to New York.
Yeah, well, the loss to Philadelphia is just kind of indicative of what's probably would happen in the playoffs for the Jazz, where when you face just that good of a talent, the Jazz don't have a mechanism to stop it. They have good team defense, but against great individual players, they are really going to struggle. In that kind of atmosphere, they just kept going to Embiid, and the Jazz couldn't stop it no matter what they tried. It was man against boys. So the other games, it's just, maybe it is a combination of the Jazz being on the road. Maybe they're getting a little too big for their britches, and other teams are maybe figuring them out. Looking statistically, a lot of it is just they're not making as many shots as they were. They were in the first 13 games, they made 37% of their threes. In the last 3, they've made 32%, so a big drop there. I think one thing that's kind of interesting, because when you look at this Jazz, they're a team that gets out in transition, and they will murder teams in transition, which is weird to watch because the Jazz used to hate transition,
Right.
both offense and defense. That's why they did all the take fouls. But for the first 13 games, they were averaging almost 9 steals a game. The last 3, they're averaging 4.7 steals per game. So they're almost half their number of steals, which is not just, forcing turnovers and, killing, your opposing offense's possessions. Those are easy offense for you on the other end. Just ask Taylor Funk how many points you can get off of steals.
Yeah.
He did pretty well off of those. So the Jazz are losing like 3 to 4 free offensive possessions per game. Easy offensive possessions. Momentum building possessions. Chances for guys to either get an easy layup or sometimes you end up with a transition 3 off of a steal where you can see the ball go through the hoop on a wide open 3. A chance you're usually not going to get in the half court as easily. So I think that's a big aspect. And, another thing is Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson they have obscene shooting numbers in the wrong direction. Mike Conley is shooting 20% in the last 3 games, 13% from 3. And Jordan Clarkson's shooting 37% overall, or 34% overall. In the last 3 games, 26, almost 27% from 3. These are guys who are usually in the mid-40s and then mid-30s from 3, or for Conley, closer to 40% from 3. And they're shooting this bad right now. These are teams that thrive off of making shots, and they're not making shots right now.
Yeah, and I think that not making shots, not great in a half-court offense, and they've been going to that quite a bit, which is uncharacteristic of the team this year. And then just the spacing just really wasn't very good in the second half. And I think Will Hardy talked a little bit about that afterwards. We're getting outside of what we normally do. We're getting away from what's worked for us. And I don't know if it's guys starting to fall back on maybe some former tendencies where they needed to be the ones to go one-on-one and do some hero ball. But the spacing wasn't good. Guys didn't seem like they knew exactly where to be on the court, which made it tough to pass, tough to rotate, and just the offense just kind of staggered and stumbled for the Jazz last night. 20 turnovers. I mean, that's rough. It's tough to beat any team when you're giving the ball away that many times.
Yeah, and this is a team that has so many guys who can create off of the dribble. You have Mike Conley, who's a guy who can just be a wizard out there. He can beat guys off the dribble, ball screen, get downhill, and once he can get downhill, everything starts falling apart for the defense because the Jazz were just so good at passing it around and finding that open shot, that one extra pass, find the guy who's open. They were doing that so flawlessly, and they were getting everybody to do that. Kelly Olynyk would be getting downhill, and then he'd find the right pass, maybe a dump off to Jared Vanderbilt or a kick out to a 3. Everybody could do it. And then everybody was making shots off of that great movement. And if they're not getting those good passes, if they're not getting that, penetration, or if guys just aren't making their shots, then things go downhill. And there is obviously a reliance on guys who can go out and get a bucket. Mike Conley getting out there and just making a mid-range floater, because sometimes you need to make one of those hard shots. Jordan Clarkson, he goes out there and just makes some of those hard shots. Malik Beasley, he also does a little bit of that. Mm-hmm. And if these guys aren't performing, then it makes it that much harder.
Yeah, Olynyk in foul trouble a lot in that second half. After a great dynamic first half, really kind of limited him and his ability. Markkanen was a guy who was averaging mid to upper 20s for a while there, but the last few games he's been lucky to get 15. So our team's starting to figure out how to defend this Jazz team a little better too, part of it?
I think so. Once you get film on teams, then you begin to, Will Hardy, he's a new coach. So there were some tendencies that you began to see that were part of the Celtics, but now coaches are getting film on it, and they're beginning to understand the Jazz. And there's still not a ton of time to prepare for these teams. They usually only get a walkthrough or a shoot around, and that's all they get to prepare for one team. So usually just practicing their own stuff. But once coaches have a general understanding, they'll know which defensive sets. They may not be able to tell their team specifically, all right, do this, but they'll know which things to call out in key situations when there's a timeout. Coaches will be able to draw up a defensive scheme to stop the Jazz, or in different scenarios like that, when coaching really comes into play. And the coaches will understand, they'll be able to explain to the players. So I think there is an aspect to that, but I do think a lot of this is the Jazz are just getting away a little bit from what they were doing. Because in the end, if you're good at what you do, then teams usually aren't going to stop you. There's some coaching that needs to happen, and this is where Will Hardy's going to be. This is where his first test is, because teams figure him out, and then you have to refigure things out. Ryan Odom actually kind of had an interesting talk about this during media availability, where he was explaining how he's figuring out his team right now. It's early in the season. You're trying to learn things. And he said, well, at the same time, other teams are learning about you at the same time. And so it gets harder, and things get harder. And that's where the true test of a coach and players comes in, is it's not just that initial stretch. There are 1,001 teams that have started a season hot. There's only a handful that finish well. So the trick is, can you continue to adjust? And so this is that first test for the Jazz. Will they overcome this first adjustment period?
Yeah, because a lot of these games early in the season, catching teams by surprise. Oh, this is going to be a lottery team. They're not very good. They don't have their all-stars. And Jazz get out there and run and surprise them and kind of smack them in the mouth, and teams are having a hard time figuring out how to adjust. But now we're a couple of weeks into the season now, and there is a lot more film on these guys. So it's kind of interesting to see how that will continue, how that will affect this team going forward for the next little bit. Doesn't necessarily get easier. We got Phoenix Suns coming to town on Friday. Now, they may not have Chris Paul. I know he's missed some games. I'm not sure if he's going to be cleared to go for Friday or not. But still, kind of an interesting stretch here for the Jazz. 1570 texting in. I think the Jazz will come back to earth. I still think they are play-in or a little better, but they're not a top seed in the West. But the future looks pretty bright to have this good of a team and all these draft picks.
Yeah, I mentioned this, I think, last week, or maybe even earlier this week, where since the NBA-ABA merger in like 1976 or thereabouts, there have been 162 teams to start 10-3 or better. 160 made the playoffs. So
it's pretty good math in favor of the Utah Jazz.
That's incredibly good math in terms of making the playoffs. Now, plenty of those teams wound up being 7 seeds, 8 seeds, 6 seeds. They weren't necessarily dominant teams. They just started fast. And so the Jazz could very easily end up in that 4 to 8 range. That's probably where I'd pick them at this point. They are better than what I thought was going to be like a 25-win team. But yeah, they were probably playing a little over their heads. And even if they had finished with a 3-4 seed, or even if they will, because it could still obviously happen, 3-game losing streak isn't the end of the world.
No.
There are weaknesses that I believe there are that would lead them to losing in the playoffs, namely an ability to stop elite talent. And in a way, a lack of their own elite talent. Lauri Markkanen is not that.
Right. They have good talent. They don't have elite talent.
Yeah.
It's an important differentiation. Now, yeah, but I totally agree with that. It's fun watching this team develop and the players that are there and how they're coming together. Utah Jazz have depth at a lot of different positions and can throw a lot of versatility out on the court. But getting everybody to be on the same page is a big thing. But even with this 3-game losing streak, look at the standings, and Utah is still the number 3 team in the Western Conference.
Yeah. And I just say another potential explanation for this 3-game losing streak is that Danny Ainge just poisoning the water. He's sneaking into the cooler before the game, just unscrew, and then pours some mysterious substance in.
Let's come down to earth here, guys. Let's stay on brand. That's what we want to do here. 435-339-0321. Got to take a quick timeout here on the Full Court Press. When we come back, let's get into more of Utah State football. Al Lewis had a chance to catch up with Alfred Edwards, and some more comments from the head coach for the San Jose State Spartans, what he is seeing in his prep for the Utah State Aggies as they prepare to come to Logan on a late Saturday night. Pregame for us on Saturday night will start at 6:15 and kick off at 7:45. If by chance you can't make it to the game, you can watch it on FS1.
It's engagement season. Time to find the perfect ring. S.E. Needham Jewelers is known for beautifully cut diamonds at excellent prices. Guys, the sparkle is what matters most in the diamond you give your sweetheart. Our diamonds stand apart from those of other stores. Come view our diamonds under magnification. Select a diamond that fits your budget and then have it mounted in a ring that she'll love. Remember, you get S.E. Needham quality at internet pricing. Open Monday through Saturday 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
We're heading into some crazy weather this winter, which means power outages. Tyler and his team at Golden Spike Electric can install a Generac automatic standby generator for your home so you can avoid issues when the power goes out. If you have one already, Golden Spike Electric can maintain your Generac automatic standby generator for you. Find them online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. Golden Spike Electric and Generac automatic standby generators. Power you can count on.
For over 20 years, Aegis Home Health and Hospice has been providing health care to Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. Whatever or wherever your health care needs, Aegis' goal is to meet those needs. Aegis Home Health and Hospice core values are character, experience, and trust. Aegis, AEGIS, striving to provide the health care services you need. Aegis Home Health and Hospice. Call 723-9000 or find them at myaegis.com.
Hey Logan, there's no reason to wait. Al's Sporting Goods pre-Black Friday sale is bigger than ever. Get to Al's while the selection is at its best. All winter outerwear from the best brands like North Face, Cool, Columbia, and Burton 20% off. Giro goggles starting at just $19.99. Outdoor ski bibs just $25. Come check out the huge selection of skis and snowboards from Line, Atomic, Burton, K2, and more. All winter-based layers save 20%. It's Al's Sporting Goods pre-Black Friday sale going on now through Saturday. Al's Sporting Goods, every sport, every season.
The Young Automotive Group is proud to announce Young Truck and Trailer Center in Cache Valley. Whether it's heavy equipment trailers, horse trailers, race car trailers, or cargo and utility trailers, we're excited to offer some of the finest trailers and flatbed work trucks to Cache Valley. Our team of experts look forward to helping you find the right truck or trailer to fit your needs, with competitive prices offered on every make and model for sale on our lot. With our extensive inventory, you'll find the best deals right here in Cache Valley. Young Truck and Trailer Center, just off Highway 89 in Logan. Think young, drive young.
Which local high schools do you follow and support? Find your favorite high school logoed items at the Locker 42 North store. Yes, Locker 42 North has high school logoed hoodies, t-shirts, blankets, and more. Green Canyon, Mountain Crest, Logan, Ridgeline, and Skyview can all find their high school logos on apparel at Locker 42 North. And high school logoed items make great Christmas gifts. Logoed items from all your favorite high schools exclusively at the Locker 42 North store, 1430 North Main, next to Little Caesars.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
That game against Utah State last year kind of felt a lot like San Diego State did, unfortunately, right? Like we jumped out and then we started not playing complimentary football, not playing good football, and we turned it over and just all kinds of messy stuff. And they ran away with it.
That's Coach Brennan for the San Jose State Spartans. Just had a rough game last week against San Diego State and felt like that's how it felt a year ago when his team went up against the Utah State Aggies. Now, and last year, Utah State was physical, got after it, and came away with a nice win. And we knew it was going to be a challenging game for them, but the Aggies played well in that one on the road. Can they do the same Saturday night?
And San Jose State jumped out to a 14-0 lead in that game. Then Utah State scored 24 unanswered points, and ended up winning 48-17. So 48-3 run.
Yeah, that's a
little excessive.
Also one of the other things to kind of look at is what are your common opponents? By this time of the year, you've got usually a few, and there are 3 teams that are common among Utah State and San Jose State. Both played Wyoming in Laramie. San Jose State beat the Cowboys 33-16. The Aggies lost 28-14. They beat UNLV at home 40-7. Aggies lost at home 34-24. And they beat Colorado State in San Jose 28-14, and the Aggies beat Colorado State in Fort Collins 17-13. So, granted, the Colorado State game, unique circumstances with that one.
And Wyoming too.
True.
So there's some things to consider with with these common opponents. And there's some noise in these comparisons, but obviously, that's something that I would like to it's the kind of thing that I usually would look to compare. Like the Wyoming game, that's one of the things that I really keyed in on, because both games were in Laramie. San Jose State did well, Utah State did not. So that's probably the number one thing that worries me, is that San Jose State has done well in certain areas where Utah State has not. And I don't really see an easy way for Utah State to just win this game other than just play better, which is that's not something you like to be able to. How do you win this game? Play better.
Here's our game plan. Play better.
Jason Walker's keys to the game. Play better.
Don't mind the X's and O's.
Just play better.
Yeah. One of the things that is tough about this San Jose State team is it's tough to run on them. And the question was posed to Coach Anderson. Looking at San Diego State, going back to that game as a reference, that was a game that the Aztecs threw the ball around quite a bit. And they exploded offensively, got into the end zone more than they have most of the year, almost entire year. They haven't seen a game quite like that with that much offense, and much of it was because they were passing the ball, but they were doing that because it's tough to run on the Spartans, and this is Coach Anderson's response.
Yeah, they're hard to run the ball against. Their front is the strength of their team. They're hard to throw it against too if you're not careful, because they can rush the passer extremely well. We found out last year, and Logan had to get picked up off the turf a lot. We were down 14-0. We played a great defensive game against them last year. We got things going eventually offensively the way we needed to, but it was not easy. You're right, San Diego State typically does pound the ball at you, but that was not easy for them. They did a really good job of winning in one-on-one situations in the back end and creating explosive throws. So we're going to have to be balanced, protect the ball, protect the quarterback, and take our shots where we can. I don't think we can abandon the run. It may not be pretty, but we have to stay balanced.
And one of the aspects of Utah State trying to run the ball, earlier this week, Coach Anderson said that Robert Briggs, the freshman running back, has a shoulder injury, and he's out for the year.
Yeah, which is rough. Granted, Tyler has generally been the workhorse back, so it's not huge. It's more of a depth hit. And then obviously for those couple of possessions, usually per game, that Briggs comes in to spell Tyler, you're losing a very effective running back. So it is a loss, definitely. Hopefully it's not one that'll have a huge impact on the game, but it could.
Yeah, absolutely could. So they still have to try to run the ball against San Jose State. They have to try to establish some semblance of a running attack. And going up the middle just really hasn't worked a whole lot. I think they got to be able to work the edges. But it's probably going to be a lot more on Cooper Legas too, spraying the ball around to get that front seven for San Jose State to back off a little bit.
Yeah, he'll definitely need to have a good game running wise to keep them on their toes. and to not just key in on Tyler getting the ball, and, running up the middle or off guard or off center where he's usually going. So we'll have to see. And Legal will have to perform well anyway because, with San Diego State, the key was they were able to throw the ball. So Cooper Lega's got to be able to throw the ball. He's got to have another 200-plus yard passing game. Move the ball in offense through the air, and then capitalize with the run. When you're getting them on their back heels in the pass, that's going to open up the run. Not the other way around. You got to pass to set up the run in this case.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Utah State's successful in doing that. And hopefully there's something from the San Diego State game that Utah State is keying in on, where they're watching that San Diego State, San Jose State film and saying, all right, what was it that San Diego State did? A team that's been horrible on offense. Debatably the worst offense in the conference, maybe except New Mexico. They were able to explode against San Jose State. So what did they do in Utah State? Hopefully they can find a weakness that they can exploit that San Jose State hasn't managed to patch up. Because obviously they're very much watching their own film too to figure out what went wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Brent Brennan does have a lot of compliments for Utah State besides what we just heard about how well they played in San Jose a year ago. Just watching USU and how they're playing right now, he believes that the Aggies are playing their best football of the season right now.
These guys are absolutely playing their best football of the season right now. They've won 4 of their last 5. We have to go to their place, which is always a tough place to go. I did a radio interview today. They just wanted to talk about the elevation and the weather, which I'm like, we can't control that stuff, so I'm not, it's not like they're going to turn up the temperature for me because I ask. But we're playing a really good team, right? The quarterback is settling in since replacing, Bonner from a year ago. He's doing a great job. They have a very veteran team. When you watch them play, their defense flies to the football. They've got good players all over it. A lot of upperclassmen, a lot of guys that have played a lot of football for them and played at a high level, right? They won the conference a year ago. And then offensively, excellent veteran offensive line, big bodies that are athletic and physical. Their running back is an outstanding player. I think he's one of the top rushers in the conference. And then they have an outstanding receiving corps, which they've always seemed to have. So this is an incredible challenge for us. Blake Anderson and that staff do a great job. I've known Blake for a long time. He's an excellent coach and one of the best human beings I know. And so it's going to be an incredible challenge for our team to go on the road and play good football.
Yeah, and he's right. It's going to be for Utah State to highlight those things that have been working well for them in having a variety of different wide receivers step up and be available, so that defense isn't keying in on just one area of the field or one guy, because that defensive front is going to be aggressive and coming after Cooper Legas to get him off target, off schedule, off rhythm. So those have to, if the wide receivers, tight ends, I would include in that, have to be physical quickly at the point of at snap to create separation and find quick options, because that's probably, he's not going to have a lot of time in the pocket.
Yeah, and luckily Utah State has, they have route combinations that do give, the ability to get the ball out quick. They've done it a lot. They've done it all the last 2 years. So we'll see. And if San Jose State tries to cheat on those hitch routes and short routes, then maybe Utah State will bust out. They've got little hitch and go packages, double move packages, basically routes that they'll run their receivers on regularly. And so maybe we'll see Utah State take a shot or two, maybe burn San Jose State. But that does require, when you do those, then you got to have more pass protection. You need a couple more seconds.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely see one of those plays called. Hopefully it doesn't end with Legas with his back on the ground, or at least back on the ground with the ball in his hand.
Yes.
So one thing, as far as, Coach Brennan giving Utah State comments, are we ever going to have a, situation where Coach doesn't give compliments to the other team? Like, tell us about the other team. Oh, they're a great team. They're, they'd be undefeated if a couple of breaks went their way. And this coach, he's awesome. He's like the best coach that's ever been. The opposing coach has never won a single game in college ever. He's a great coach. He's, his guys always come out and they play hard and they play good. And And, they're the greatest team ever. I mean, it's a tough team. Coach, they're 0-8, and they've lost by 50 points every game. They're a great team. They're better than their record shows. Like, it's a formula you can – it's like those, like, AI writes such and such, It's like AI writes coach's opening statement for a football game.
For its opponent. But wait. There's more.
Oh, no.
They're always well coached. They have good personnel. I think they've done a great job of building that program over time. They have an incredible facility and a stadium and a skybox and an indoor and a weight room. And like they have, like just football weight room, right? So like they have some cool things that I think help recruit good players to their program. And then those players know that when they get there, they're going to be well coached and it's going to be a good process for them. So I think that's part of it.
You walked right into it.
I lobbed that one right over the plate.
The platitudes are many when you talk to the coaches.
It's like presidential debates. Like, there's like, all right, what do you think of this upcoming debate? Oh, my opponent is the best debater ever. Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, morons compared to this man that I'm about to debate. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Because if you lose, then it's, we lost to a good team.
Yes.
And if you win, we beat such a great team. Coach, they're 0-9 now. It's a great team. They're better than their record shows.
Good guys. Really good guys. 435-339-0321. If you want to weigh in on our Full Court Press text line, 0366. Franson, you don't sound healthy, bro. Get well.
Yeah, I said at the beginning of the show. I was surprised by it. I talked to him twice this morning and afternoon, various things around the office. And all of a sudden he walks into here and like, Eric, you okay? Have you been replaced by a body snatcher or something? Like, do I need to go find the real Eric Franson?
We had too many conversations today. My voice is just not hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's not holding together. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout on the Full Court Press. When we come back, Al Lewis caught up with Alfred Edwards, the very distinguished, very experienced offensive lineman for USU, to talk about kind of his career and one last home game coming up this weekend. That's all coming up on the Full Court Press.
You have to see it to believe it. The new Three Peaks Medical Plaza is Cache Valley's newest and most up-to-date medical facility. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center are now located in the Three Peaks Medical Plaza in North Logan. The entire staff and Drs. Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette look forward to helping you and your family at this state-of-the-art medical facility. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is now located in Providence and Three Peaks Medical Plaza, 2245 North 400 East in North Logan. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including Select Med, are accepted.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
Over the last few years, we have expanded the store to create one of the largest engagement selections in northern Utah. In addition to our goldsmith, we now have a design team that creates, casts, and brings to life your one-of-a-kind ring right here in our store, all for one common goal, to make it special for you. If you haven't been in yet, come see what makes us so special.
Jarrett's fine jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarrett's.
This is Dustin with Valvoline Instant Oil Change in Logan. Whatever you do, don't forget to change the oil in your car. My team at Valvoline Instant Oil Change will get you in and out quickly. Stay in your car and relax, all while your car is being serviced by trained professionals. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, 695 North Main in Logan, across from Angie's.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Service you can see. Experts you can trust.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. My wife and I were laughing the other day because she read an article about things not to buy online. The first thing was prom dresses. Dresses advertised versus dresses delivered. Needless to say, what people thought they were getting is not what they got. It's much the same with mattresses. Almost always, buying a mattress online ends in buyers being let down. At My Mattress, we try to always exceed expectations. Lower prices than online, and better beds. Only at My Mattress.
It's game time, and you're in the locker room ready to take the field. But suddenly, you notice a player you don't recognize. He's wearing your team's jersey, and he even knows your name. But you've never seen him before now. Would you trust this stranger with your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing scams work. And the first quarter of 2022 saw the highest volume of phishing attacks ever recorded. Protect your business with the Les Olson Security Suite from Les Olson IT. Learn more at lesolson.com.
The Aggies, Jazz, high schools, even the Pee Wee's T-ball team. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, The Fan.
You'll be more prepared for the cold winter weather with help from your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores, like ice scrapers and snow brushes, fuel line antifreeze, starting fluid, and even windshield de-icer can all be found at those 5 locally owned Preston and Providence Napa Auto Parts stores. Eric Franson and Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press, 435-339-0321 if you want to chime in. 9315 texting in, did you know USU has a weight room? According to our opponent this weekend, don't all D1 teams have a weight room?
Yeah, Utah State has a weight room with facilities, indoor. Such a great place.
They have a press box?
Yeah, a press box. That was the thing. I was like, okay. Yes, they have a press box, but it requires you to be 8 feet tall to actually be able to see what's going on.
Well, not so San Jose State has been a long derelict program with their athletic budgets and their programs. But they are in the process of building some more athletic facilities. I think the point he's making is USU has a designated football locker room. Not locker room, weight room, excuse me. Weight room.
Is it just for football? Because I think they share that weight room with other programs.
Well, it's mostly football, but there are others. Yes, there are other programs that utilize it, but it is mostly attached to the football program.
That whole north end zone complex is for pretty much all athletes. Maybe there's certain spots for football only, but like I've been in there and there's athletes from every team.
Yeah,
in there.
But I think the point he's trying to make is that Utah State, as an institution, as a fan base, as a donor base, has made investments in their program, and you can see that 9 of the last 11 years they've been a team that's gone bowling. So they've had a certain level of success. They've made the investments in facilities, which helps the athletes, which helps recruiting. You can see a through line here, and he's been trying to do that at San Jose. They have some construction projects going on now, and he's hoping that will help lead to similar results for his program.
It is a little annoying to see the dollar figures that are spent on about 200 athletes when you have a school of, 30,000?
25,000.
Be nice, but, those you get money from those 200 athletes.
True. One of those athletes is Alfred Edwards, and outstanding offensive lineman for Utah State. Al Lewis caught up with him after practice last night, talking about his distinguished career and thoughts about how this season has gone on so far.
Alfred Edwards, I don't know if anybody's going to ever play in Utah State more football games than you will end up playing. You might hold the record for that.
Yeah, it's a great accomplishment for me. I've been here a really long time, so that's a part of it. But it's been a great ride for sure.
So we're not saying this is the end. We're hoping there's lots more to go, and for you maybe in your career as well. But as you get to the end of this Utah State thing, like I talked to you about before the season started, this has been really special for you, not only football but academics and everything else in your life.
Yeah, it's been a great experience here at Utah State. My thing was I wanted to take full advantage of it. I'm about to come out with 2 degrees, play, I don't even know how many games at this point. So, yes, it's definitely been a great experience.
I think you just started your 50th, and I think you played about 52 or 53 games, I think something like that in your career. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
Now, you've seen a lot, too. Has some of the hard times been great learning experiences, you think, for your life in the future?
Oh, definitely. Overcoming all the, adversity, that's what makes you a good person, You got to just overcome everything bad, and then when everything's good, you got to enjoy it.
The other thing, though, is nobody will ever be the first-time Mountain West champion like you will be. And, again, that feeling has to be great, too.
Exactly. That is a great feeling. Last season was a great season, but we just got to finish this one off right.
So where is everybody still in good spirits towards getting this thing done like you want to get done?
Oh, of course. Every week, our goal has been be 1-0. So it's the same thing this week for San Jose.
Mm-hmm. And Coach talked about it. You had a tough time. I mean, Hawaii's defensive line put pressure on you guys last week. Week before, New Mexico was interesting, and San Jose likes to do that as well, right? It's a challenging game, isn't it, for the offensive line?
Oh yeah, definitely. They have a really good front. All Mountain West guys, but I feel like we're ready for it. We're gonna prepare like we prepare every week, and we're gonna go out and play our butts off.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember about the game last year? You guys got down in the game, didn't quit in the game, and eventually had one of your great offensive games of the year last year. What do you remember of that game?
I remember, us being us. Ever since Coach A been here, we've been down a lot and still won games. So that's just really the spirit of this team. We never give up. In the fourth quarter, that's a lot of times that's where we shine. So that's really who we are in our DNA.
Well, I hope it goes well for this senior game. Is some of your family to come for senior game?
Oh, yeah, my dad's going to come. Now I have my girlfriend with me, too, so it's going to be a pretty good time.
That's very good. And look at all the people you've met over the years being here this long at Utah State, and coaching staffs and coaches you've had. You've gone through a lot of that, too, Alfred.
Yeah, it's definitely been a great time meeting literally like hundreds of people by the time I'm done here. So I made a lot of connections. I made a lot of lifelong friendships, and it's been a great time.
So in the end, are you going to feel real positive about all your years at Utah State? Look back on it always fondly about coming to Logan, Utah from Southern California?
Oh, of course. When you're being recruited in high school, that's a really big decision. I definitely feel like I made a really good decision, one of the best decisions of my life to come to Utah State.
I appreciate what you've done. Alfred, good luck to you again in this game, next week, the rest of this season, and in your life, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Al. Great interview there with Alfred Edwards, who's been through a lot here at Utah State. He's been a mainstay on that offensive line, inserted from pretty much day one when he arrived on campus. And he has been very solid. We've talked in the past about, is there anybody on this team who may make it to the NFL? He might be one who could. But he's definitely been a part of this team for a long time. He's stayed pretty healthy through all of that too.
Yeah, he's been an Ironman. He's missed maybe 1 or 2 games over the years, maybe each year. But yeah, he may very well go down as the guy with the most games played. I was trying to, during the interview, find the record in the media guide, and I could not find it listed anywhere. Which is weird because they have that in the basketball media guide. But Alfred Edwards, he's played every year, just about every game since 2018. That's quite a few years. And with the COVID year, these are the kind of records that I think a lot of schools are going to see set.
He got the extra year of eligibility.
Yeah, so games played, a couple programs, if they happen to have a superstar player on their team who ends up playing all 5-6 years or however many, they could see other records broken aside from games played. So like points or runs or whatever sport it is. But yeah, Alfred probably going to go down as most games played. I'll have to update you on that stat because I can't find it. I don't know why. It seems like a pretty obvious one, but maybe I just missed it.
Well, we'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll track it down.
I was doing Control F in the browser, like literally going through every time it said games in the media guide record book section, and I did not find it. That's how thorough I was trying to be.
You were trying.
And it didn't work.
435-339-0321 if you want to chime in. 3862 on our text line. Alfred sounds like Rob Gronkowski. Put him in the next USAA commercial. Busted.
I haven't watched enough NFL this year, so I've only seen a couple of those Rob Gronkowski commercials.
He does, if you close your eyes and just listen to him, there's some similarities there.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. All right. So, interesting comments there from Alfred. Senior day for USU Saturday night. Hopefully a lot of Aggie fans brave the cold weather to go cheer on this Aggie, the seniors. Coach Anderson said 11 will be graduating and moving on and using up their eligibility. I guess, +1. Jacob South has one more year of eligibility, but he's opting to let this be his last rodeo.
Yeah. I don't know if he's the only one doing that. He might be. I know he was the one that Coach mentioned. But yeah, then there's Logan Bonner, who definitely does not have eligibility left. Like, he can't. There's no way.
There's no way.
7 years in, 6 seasons where he's played at least a game. So
it's wild.
Good luck to them, though, obviously, in the rest of their civilian lives, joining the rest of us plebeians.
Future endeavors. All right, another quick timeout and some additional thoughts as we close out on a Would You Rather Wednesday. Jason's got a Would You Rather. Did you? I don't think you've said it, did you?
I have not said it.
All right, we'll get
sitting
to
on
that.
it for like an hour now.
Okay. We'll get to that coming up on the other side of this timeout.
Your skis are skinny and your boots tie with leather.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You need up-to-date ski equipment, and your kids want the good stuff. Al Sporting Goods has season ski rental for the entire family. Ski and board equipment that you can rent for the entire season. Pick them up now, bring them back in May. And for a limited time, get a free Cherry Peak Lift Pass. Youth season ski or snowboard rental, only $99. Adult season ski or snowboard rentals, only $114. Don't wait. $99 and $114 season ski rental prices will go up. Al Sporting Goods for season ski rentals. Every sport, every season.
This is Zach with HSA Depot. Christmas is nearly here. Make sure you be merry and bright by using your pre-tax funds on your medical needs. We know your regular holiday budget is disappearing quick, so instead, save money by using your pre-tax income to buy qualifying medical supplies. HSA Depot carries hundreds of unique and dashing eligible products to help you conquer your healthcare. Come to HSA Depot next to Sally Beauty Supply and see how much you can save this holiday season. HSA Depot, 5-star review.
It's time to use your flex spending for 2022. As they say, use it or lose it. Crystal Vision, the 2-time gold medal winner in Best of Northern Utah, has a great selection of frames with character. Take your current prescription in and let Crystal Vision fit you into a new look for the new year. Your glasses will feel like they were made for you. Crystal Vision on 14th North or online at crystalvision.com.
Clean it up and get it out before the snow flies. Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
Thermo Fisher Scientific is hiring for their manufacturing, distribution, and warehouse team. And that's great news for anyone seeking a rewarding career. Thermo Fisher offers positions across multiple shifts, competitive compensation, health benefits, paid time off, bonuses, and an excellent work environment. Help Thermo Fisher make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Visit jobs.thermofisher.com and search Logan. Thermo Fisher Scientific is an equal opportunity employer.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Franson and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
Mountain West Motors' selection of trucks and SUVs has been specially customized for your next adventure. So go check out what they have on their lot today at 615 North Main in Logan, or visit them online, mwmotor.com. Would you rather Wednesday here on the Full Court Press. Jason, you've been sitting on one for a little while.
I've been sitting on one for like a week and a half now. So this is Would You Rather. I saw it on Twitter, and a Twitter account just called NBA Memes. And so I kind of stole this off of them. And so it's NBA related. Would you rather have a player that is scared to shoot, even in situations where they'd probably make it? I think of a Ben Simmons or a Royce O'Neal.
Okay.
Or would you rather have someone who's not afraid to shoot, but he probably shouldn't be shooting? See, Russell Westbrook. So in the original tweet, it had Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook. Would you rather have somebody who's scared to shoot or always shoots it? So, like, which of those would you rather have?
Boy, that's tough. It's like a lose-lose.
It is. It's the wrong kind of would you rather.
Yeah. I think I'd probably rather somebody who's not afraid to shoot. Because every now and then those shots are going to fall.
Yeah. They'll win you hopefully more games than you lose.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty compelling argument. I was leaning toward someone who's scared to shoot, but I think that's actually a good enough argument. I'd probably go the other way, where it's like, Royce O'Neal was frustrating that he wouldn't shoot. He's 40% three-point shooter, and he's open, and the guy's like 5 feet away. Just shoot the dang ball.
I know, yeah, passed on it.
Or Ben Simmons, not shooting a layup when 6'10" versus 6'1", or 6 foot. I don't know how tall Trae Young is, but yeah. I would be frustrated out of my mind still. It's almost more frustrating more often to watch a Russell Westbrook brick an 18-footer that he shouldn't have shot ever in 1,000 years. But Russell Westbrook gets hot. And when he gets hot, he's an incredibly valuable offensive player.
Yeah, that's true. What do you want to add to that? Kind of related. Did you see this latest from Kevin Durant? Interesting comment that he made?
I don't think so.
Look at our starting lineup. Edmund Sumner, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, Nick Claxton, and me. It's not disrespect, but what are you expecting from that group? Durant asked of Bleacher Report. You expect us to win because I'm out there. So if you're watching from that lens, you're expecting us to play well because number 7 is out there.
Is he dissing on his teammates?
I mean, you just throw the rest of your starting players under the bus and say you expect to play well just because I'm out there.
Dang, toxic. Kevin Durant is a toxic.
Oh my gosh.
Durantula does fit for him for more than one reason, apparently, because it's not toxic, it's venomous. But
it's venomous.
Yeah, still.
Oh my word. It'd make for an awkward huddle.
Superstars these days.
Hey, bud. I'm not going to pass you the ball.
You suck.
Just give it to me. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight here in the Full Court Press. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget you can check out all of our past episodes on 1069thefan.com.